This episode of Love Lauren is sponsored by Scott Bonnar Fabrication and Parts. Before I seal these up, I wanted to show you what I've done in terms of the paint job on these roller halves. To be honest, I wasn't quite sure what to do with them. I think some people would probably just leave them, some people might clean them up a bit, some people paint them, some people do all sorts in terms of rubber coatings and stuff like that on the outside. I wasn't going to go that far. To be honest, I kind of like the natural cast iron. I just figured a little bit of primer, at the very least a bit of paint, would probably help in terms of the corrosion protection long term. Maybe not. I did hit the insides of these drums with a fair bit of Ranix and that sort of thing, just to remove and inhibit any future corrosion. What I've done with these is just masked off a few parts and basically hit it with just the etch primer after giving it a bit of a clean down, just to go over it lightly. I haven't decided whether I'm going to throw any additional paint in there because I want these ratchet boxes to fit in here without too much hassle. As it is, they're a little tiny bit on the tight side with the primer on there. It's not to say I couldn't throw some extra proper paint, some sort of top coat on the insides, but I doubt I'm going to go that far. So just to show you what I did here. In terms of the inside's pretty straightforward. Just got my spray can. I did mask off the intersection that the shaft comes through and that the little dirt sleeve sits on top of, just in the interest of getting that little dirt sleeve back on there, and keeping any paint out of that bushing on the inside. You would have noticed I didn't put any paint on this side. I think from memory both machines had a bit of paint on the outside face here. I don't really think it's necessary. I don't like it anyway. I kind of like this natural colour, so as long as it doesn't rust up, we'll just leave it. These ratchet boxes, I did initially have this section masked off, but when I took the tape off, it sort of looked a little bit nasty still. So I just put a light spray of paint over the top of that. It should be okay because the bushing sits in there anyway. A little bit further back, if you can see that, it's a little bit further sort of recessed into that section. I did mask off this internal section where the pawls sit. I just wanted to keep that as tidy as possible. I know it's been said not to grease this section. A little bit of paint probably wouldn't have done any damage. I'd probably throw some oil in there just to give it a light coating of something to keep the rust at bay, but definitely no grease. Not a biggie, but it is kind of important. This is the bottom half of the clutch fork assembly. On the twins, I believe it's welded on. On the solid deck, it comes in two pieces. There's sort of this little foundation block that sits down there, and the fork body itself, or whatever you want to call it, that sort of screws through three holes, bolts through three holes. So pretty hard to get it mixed up in terms of the orientation because there are just the three holes, so it's going to sit on there like so. I probably should have done this before installing the deck, but it's not a big issue because I can just reach underneath since the rear roller is not in place. One screw through, two, and the third, just to hold it all in place. This is a place, this is a good spot where some Loctite on these bolts would probably not be a terrible idea. These are the nylock bolts on here anyway. And I'm going to try and tighten these up without turning the machine upside down, just to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. Got a Phillips head on these bolts. I'm just trying to tighten the actual nut. Once we've got tension on there, just so that I'm not stripping anything out. Turn that way. Obviously lift first. There we go. We'll get started on these bearing cases next. There's two. They're slightly different. You'll notice on this one we've got the two elongated holes. That's for adjusting the position of the rear rollers to align to the front of the machine, the sole plate and the front roller. This bearing case fits on the side of the machine opposite the chains, with the three nuts and bolts, and in this case there's a washer and a split washer as well. The casing that goes on the chain side has this little thing, whatever it's called, a little spring thingy, fits in there, and the bearing sits on top of that. It's got the three fixed holes, and again that goes on the chain side of the machine. So each of these casings receives a bearing which fits using an interference fit all the way into there, and then the shaft of the rear roller passes through both the casing and the bearing before the entire subassembly is installed into the machine chassis. I got these bearings from Cam Petrie, and there's some instructions on here which say the bearing should have a little chamfer on one side. Now this one does. It's very hard to see, but there's a tiny little chamfer on there, so that chamfer fits into the bearing cut rather than facing outwards. This bearing, I can't really see much of a chamfer on it. I'm assuming that they are actually the same bearings. I believe they are. So I've decided, since we've got this little steel thingy in here, sorry for the technical lingo, that I'm going to pop the chamfered bearing into the cup without that little doodah. That little doodah is called the spacer ring, number 13 on the diagram. So Cam's instructions also say to install these into the casings first before we mount them on the shaft. Cameron's instructions are to find a socket that matches the outer diameter of the bearing to coerce this guy into the casing. I don't have a socket that large, sorry. So what I'm going to do is be gentle and tap it in using a socket that fits the internal ring. As always, despite this being an interference fit, I'm going to pop a tiny bit of grease in here just to make removal in the future easy. And again, I'm using the moly grease that I always use, and I'm just going to smear just a tiny little amount in there, just to help everything slide home and to prevent any future corrosion interfering with the world. So first in goes the ring, and then our bearing. Line it up as best we can. Instead of starting with the socket, I'm maybe going to start with this little block of wood, just to sort of span the entire face of that bearing and get us get us started at least. It's going. These bearing cases are they're pressed tin or something like that. They're a little bit on the delicate side. So I don't want to overdo it, but I do want to make sure that bearing's as far home as it will go. Alright, so I think that's that block of wood's got that flush with the casing now, so I'm just going to continue here with my socket. And I can just see, looking in the gap here, that the bearing is sitting up against that spacer ring. As far as I can tell, it's flush with the surface of the bearing casing here, so that won't interfere with the chassis of the machine. So I think that's going to do. I don't want to damage this bearing. So I'll set that aside and move on to the next one. So again, that chamfer is facing downwards. I'm just going to remember that. A little smear of grease here again. And this side being the side of opposite the chain side, doesn't have the spacer ring, but it does have the two elongated screw slots. So that's just going to fit in there like that. I should note these were powder coated, and the powder coaters again filled that inner casing with paint. So I've sanded that off just using a little bit of 120 grit paper, just to make this process a little bit simpler. These casings are very tight compared to the ones I just did on the 17-inch machine. They basically just sort of slipped right in there with a bit of grease. I think what I actually did with them was I put the casing on the axle first, and then the bearing sort of directly into them, rather than sort of doing it this way and then putting this little sub-assembly onto the axle. So I guess whatever works best for you. I'm just following Cameron's instructions in this case. These are new bearings on this machine, and the other bearings were the originals, I believe. Got a little bit wonky there, so I'm going to straighten that up. Alright, so I didn't have any success pounding that in with the block of wood. It was just getting caught on something and not going in straight, so knocked it back out from this side with a little socket over a couple of blocks, just to get that bearing back out. Put a bit more grease in there again, seated it properly, and then took it to the vise just to press it in. Basically ended up using the socket to get it all the way home, because it does sit below the surface of the of this outer lip of the bearing casing. So those guys are now done. I gave this one a little extra press as well, but it wasn't going to move anymore because that spacer's in there. So they're both in now, and we can probably get them on the shaft next. So let's grab that and carry on.